Got yelled at for eating chips. Edit, title should say yelled at for wanting chips. I'm posting this now, as it's fresh and I'm still in shock that it happened. I've been mistaken for an employee at many various times in my life, and a few of those times have been worse than this, but this one ranks pretty high on my WTF list. About an hour ago, I snagged a ride to the gas station near my house because I was hit with a pregnancy craving for chips. Uneventful 5-ish minute ride, and got a particularly nice Uber driver who said to take my time. She was marking me dropped off so I would only be charged for part of the ride and she'd take me home free of charge. So the adventure started off nice. Go inside gas station and I'm standing in front of the chips, trying to decide how many bags I can buy without my husband getting miffed at me spending too much money. Don't worry, he doesn't actually get mad. I probably look like I'm carrying twins, because this child is already well above average size, lucky me, so I know I take up a good chunk of real estate wherever I'm standing. After a minute or two, I hear someone clearing their throat. I automatically figure I'm in the way, so I say excuse me and step back to let what I now see to be a 40-something-year-old woman. Again, let me remind y'all we're in a gas station, not a supermarket or any sort of store where you'd think to see employees in the aisles. Heck, there really aren't many aisles. Anyway, she doesn't walk by, so I started to move to the end of the aisle. Figure she didn't have enough room to comfortably get by. But is it ever that easy? She stepped forward and asked where I was going. I replied I was moving out of her way, to which she responds with saying I can't just walk away, she needed help. That stumped me. Help as in? So I asked just that. She fires back with I've seen spicy lime lays here before so I want to know when you'll get more or if they're in a different spot. Now I realize what's going on. I tell her I don't work there, but apparently that wasn't the correct answer. Instead of an oh I'm sorry or even just a rude stomping away, she says I've seen you here before. Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you can't help a customer. Obviously she was going to stick with that. So I just walked back, grabbed a few bags of chips and walked to the next aisle to see if I wanted anything else. I heard a few excuse me after that but just ignored her. Paid, waddled outside. However, much like late night TV during the 90s, but wait, there's more. I don't know if this woman wasn't willing to admit she was wrong, or seriously thought she wasn't wrong, but she decided the obviously next appropriate action was to follow me out. I went to open the car door and this squawking loca puts her hand on the car door, making to shut it. Proceeds to tell me I can't just walk away from a customer asking a question. If you're wondering where the actual clerk is, well so was I at this point. I honestly could not believe this was happening. Hell, I still can't believe it happened. Thankfully, like I mentioned, I've gotten a pretty awesome Uber driver. She popped out of the car and asked if I was okay. Karen shoots off that she wasn't talking to her, but before I could say anything else, driver says well now you're talking to me. Get the hell away from her and my car before I come over there and slap you so hard, you won't remember how to talk. I'm not entirely sure if that made Karen realize I wasn't an employee or if it just scared her enough to make her find a different employee, but she hustled to a vehicle a few spots over and got in her car. I got back in the Uber and we watched her leave. Yes, she forgot about her chips. After making sure I was alright, the Uber driver and I had a pretty good laugh on the way back to my house. She still wouldn't even accept a tip from me, but I sneakily tipped her in the app after she drove off so she couldn't argue. Honestly, I'm waiting for people to show up so everyone claps, because I still can't fully believe that this event happened, especially at a gas station convenience store, and not even a big one. It wasn't even the size of a 711. So what in the world made her assume a woman in a sundress, the employees of this chain of stations wear a turquoise polo, who just so happened to be standing in front of the chips, was an employee? And why continue bullheading forward after being told I don't work there, then not just walking away, but purchasing items and leaving the store? Times like this, I am truly stumped as to these people's thought process. Part of me really wants to know what they're thinking that leads them to this insane behavior, but the other part of me knows I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. At least I got my chips.